Hello everyone, welcome to ACE Online and welcome to daily current affairs session. So as yesterday was a holiday, that is Sunday, we will cover the current affairs of both 7th as well as 8th April today. Okay. So before we go into the detailed discussion, let's see what are all the articles that we are going to cover. So the concept of Indian citizenship, we will see what is the context, and then we will explain what actually is a citizenship and the about related to Citizenship Amendment Act as well briefly. Then green credit program, so it was there in news because of some states has published what is land related to the green credit. Before you need to understand that what are green credits, all those things we will discuss in detail. Then we will go to the actual context in detail. Then Nimu-Padam-Darcha road, so it is a factual in nature in the Ladakh as well as Himachal Pradesh. So this is covered from Sunday's newspaper of Hindu. Then South American continent mapping. Mapping forms very important part of any of the exams, right? So it's part of geography as well as the current issues. You need to club those two things to know the mapping. We will see the South American important mapping that are relevant for our exam, because the country Ecuador was there in news. That's why we have taken all the South American mapping, right? So we'll see a detailed discussion and important points you need to remember for the exam. Next, World Central Kitchen. So it is a NGO, non-governmental organization. Some people of this NGO has been killed in the Israeli attack. So we will focus not on the political things, right? So only related to the World Central Kitchen. So what is this role and what has happened, right? So that is also important. Next, so this is a very big one in terms of the name, but it is a very small article and it is an issue based. That means rather than understanding the facts, you need to understand the issue that India is facing, right, related to this particular thing. Then Disaster Management Act 2005. So if you have followed newspapers or maybe even social media, Karnataka government has filed a petition in the Supreme Court that center is delaying the funds of disaster related things to the Karnataka government. So we will see very basic things about Disaster Management Act. Then we will discuss about the issue as well between Karnataka and central government. Finally, there are 3-4 factual pointers, and after that we will also practice some questions relevant to these articles, right? So I hope my voice, everything is clear, right? And you all ready for our today's session. Yeah, so we have a number of good articles today. Very good evening to one and all who are attending the session, right? So first article is about Indian citizenship, and why we have taken this article. There was a news in the Hindu yesterday newspaper, right? So the heading or the context is there was a Citizenship Amendment Act which was made by government in 2019. I'll discuss that as well, don't worry. So there is a Citizenship Amendment Act made in 2019 and the rules has been published in the March, right? So if an act to be implemented, it should pass by Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and then President assent, and finally the rules has to be made by the respective ministry. Then only it will come into the force, right? But the context is the issue of dual citizenship. Many people have filed in the Supreme Court that the Indian Constitution is not promoting or not, making it for dual citizenship. Only single citizenship is allowed by Indian Constitution, but people who are going to be given with the Indian citizenship from other countries will have a dual citizenship. So it is against the Constitution. So we will see in detailed discussion, don't worry. So that is why we are taking the concept of citizenship for today's article, right? Before discussing what is dual citizenship and why Constitution has not allowed all these things, let's understand what is actually a citizenship. Even very basic terms are asked in the exam. I can recollect one question in 2019 of UPSC Civil Service. They have asked very simple definition. Which of the following best defines the concept of state? Right? State in the sense it is not about the states that we are having, but the very basic definition of state they have asked. So even very basic level of definitions, you need to understand it rather than mugging up, because there is a number of what you call definitions for simple words, right? For citizenship, we can take hundreds of definitions, but the concept you need to understand, and based on the given options, you need to choose the best one. There may be 2-3 options which having similar meaning, but you have to choose the most appropriate one. That's how the present examination is giving challenges, not just choosing the correct answer, but the relevant and the most appropriate answer as well, right? So the citizenship means it is an contractual agreement between the individual, the human individual, and as well as the country or the nation, which we can also term it as a state. So it is an agreement between the individual and the nation or the state as together, that there will be certain rights as well as responsibilities to the individual, right, from the state, and state will also protect that individual. So it is a mutual agreement between individual as well as state to protect the citizens or the individuals, and also citizens performing or individuals performing their roles and duties to enhance the stature of the state. So that is the concept of citizenship, right? It is not a physical one, right? Rather, we have a lot of proofs for citizenship, but it is a concept which is existing between individual and the nation, right? So that is the concept of citizenship. Now, the case of Indian citizenship. Indian citizenship is, the whole two kinds of people. The whole India consists of two kinds of people. If you take Indian geographical territory, so if this is a territory, there are Indians who is having citizens, and also there are other individuals, even though if they are not citizens, but still they are present within Indian boundaries. Same in case of USA also. If you take USA as an example, there are number of USA citizens, but Indians also residing there without holding citizenship. So Indian people, all the people who are residing in our boundaries, can be categorized into two types. One is citizens, that means who hold the citizenship, the agreement, they are bound by the state rules and regulations, right? So, and then others are called as aliens, those US or Europe, whatever the people who are presently in India without holding citizenship, those are called as aliens. And within these aliens, we can take friendly aliens and then enemy aliens. Now, you are an Indian citizen, I am an Indian citizen, so we are part of citizens. And other people who are residing in India based on their country's relationship with India. For example, India have a proper relationship, friendly relationship with Russia as well as USA. Those are called as the friendly aliens. So they are not going to make any harm to India. And there are enemy aliens, like from Pakistan and China, you can take example. Those who are from Pakistan and China also residing in India, those are called as enemy aliens, right? So this is the categorization of citizenship. So this is a concept of territory, the Indian boundaries. Within that we have a citizenship, the Indians who are holding citizens, and then friendly aliens, and then enemy aliens. So they are all residing in the Indian territory, right? So that is the concept of Indian citizenship given in our constitution, right? So the citizens enjoy all and civil political rights, like having drinking water, that is civil aspects, right, and political aspects, right to vote. So all these things are only given to the Indian citizens, not to the aliens, either friendly aliens or enemy aliens. So those won't get any civil and political rights. Similarly, one very important thing, our Indian constitution, Article 9, it talks about having one single citizenship at a time. For example, you are an Indian, and if you want to take US citizenship, once you got, immediately automatically the Indian citizenship will go away. So the Indian Constitution Article 9 clearly mentions that there will be only single citizenship at a time for any Indian, right? Some countries also allows 2-3 citizenship, but in case of India, it is only single citizenship that will be allowed. You can connect it to the context, the dual citizenship. Once we complete the discussion, you have to connect it to this. I'll come to this particular point, why the petitions has filed. Just understand that there is only one single citizenship. If you are an Indian, you are having Indian citizenship. If you take any other citizenship, immediately Indian citizenship will go away, right? So that is the concept enumerated in our Indian constitution. Now, citizenship is listed in the union list. We have 3 lists in the 7th schedule: union list, concurrent list, and state list. This citizenship is mentioned in the union list, and the only central government have the role to manage these things, right? Parliament or the central government have the authority to change anything related to the citizenship. State government have no role because it is clearly mentioned in the union list itself, right? So that is also one important thing. And a little bit brief history I need to mention here because of the concept of citizenship, which is very dynamic in Indian political system. In 1947, we had a partition, right? So India, whole Indian subcontinent is divided into Pakistan and India, and even Bangladesh, earlier part of the East Pakistan, right? So there was a division, and there is a lot of volatility because suddenly all the people are related to single ethnicity of Indian land, but now it was partition between India and Pakistan. So people will move from here to there, right? So the people who are in India may move to Pakistan based on their wish, and people in Pakistan may move towards the the Indian territory, right? Based on religion, whatever, the rulers itself, they have given the option, wherever you want, you can migrate. So an option was given to them. So in this condition, nobody can determine who are all exact citizens at that time. It will become very issue for those who may migrate from one place to other place. That's why Indian Constitution has not clearly given any criteria to hold the Indian citizenship. At that time, the condition did not support to clearly define what actually is citizenship for the Indians, right? So that's why there is no clear citizenship concept mentioned in the Constitution. Now what the rulers have those days have made, they have given power to the Parliament. Constitution we are framing, and it is going to start from 1950, January 26. But after that there may be some changes. That's why the Constitution did not clearly mention. It gave power to the Parliament, because Parliament will be there, government will be elected, and Parliament will be there along with opposition parties. So Parliament will take the decision in the future related to the citizenship. Who are eligible, how they can get the citizenship, how they can lose the citizenship. Everything was given power to the Parliament. Now Parliament has made Citizenship Act 1955. For the first time, Citizenship Act was passed in the 1955 by the Parliament. In this act, it was clearly mentioned who will get citizenship, what is the process to get, right? How many types of citizenship process there. I'm not going to discuss in detail. It will take 2 hours to only discuss the Citizenship Act, right? So just this act was passed by the Parliament, and it keep on changing. Now you might have seen many times in news about the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. The amendment was made to this act itself. So it was amended previously in 2003 and then 1970s. There are many amendments, and the recent amendment was 2019, right? So this is about the concept of Indian citizenship and the actual derivation of the Citizenship Act, and then the new one in 2019, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Citizenship Act 1955 was clearly mentioned about the rules, regulations, who will get, who will not get. Everything is clearly mentioned under the Citizenship Act 1955. Now the recent one, as I said, is passed in the 2019. I'll come to the context about dual citizenship after discussion about these acts and all. Just understand what is the existing concept and how it changed, and the recent amendment. And what is the recent amendment? That also very, very important for our exam, right? So this Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 will give citizenship status to the people who are persuaded in the certain countries, Afghanistan, and then Pakistan, and then Bangladesh, right? So this is to give the citizenship rather than taking away. This Citizenship Amendment Act is not taking anyone's citizenship away, but just giving citizenship to the new people from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and then Bangladesh. But there are certain conditions that those individuals should be having religion, any of these 4 or 5. Hinduism, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, and then Parsis, Christians. So they have excluded Muslims because they are the majority people in those countries. Afghanistan, majority people are Muslims. Pakistan, majority people are Muslims again. And then Bangladesh, also majority people are from Islam. So they are giving only minorities in those countries who are being affected because of the political system. They can come to India and they can take the status of Indian citizenship, right? Now I want to connect one point to the context. As these people are already citizenship of Pakistan or Afghanistan or Bangladesh, they are already having this citizenship. Now they are asking for Indian citizenship. So if Indian citizenship is giving to them, then they will have a dual citizenship, Pakistan as well as India, or Afghanistan as well as India, and Bangladesh as well as India. That is not permitted by Indian constitution. Indian constitution only permitting only one citizenship you can hold at a time. But now they are already holding the citizenship, and now you are giving Indian citizenship. So they have to first give up those citizenship, then you have to take the citizenship of India. That's what the petitioners has filed in the Supreme Court, right? We need to see what Supreme Court will tell. Anyway, this act gives citizenship status to those individuals of different specific religion and from specific countries. There is also a criticism about this act. Take example of Myanmar. Myanmar is having Hinayana Buddhists, mostly of the majority Buddhist region, and there are certain Rohingyas, you can take example, who are following Islam. They are minorities there, so they did not mention here about the Myanmar. So you are excluding certain religion even though they are minorities. So this is one criticism. Similarly, you take Sri Lanka also. In Sri Lanka, Tamilians are minorities, right? Sinhalese are majority people. So you are not mentioning about Sri Lanka as well, even though they are not from Islam and they are from Hindus only, but they are of Tamilians, right? So there is a discrimination. Even though you are saying that it is not taking away, but it is giving citizenship, but still it is being discriminated to certain individuals, certain sections. So that's why there is a criticism also about the Amendment Act, right? Now, this type of migrants will have a fast track citizenship. Usually, the Citizenship Act 1955, not the recent one, but 1955, it says that if you want to take Indian citizenship, you need to stay in India for 11 years continuously without moving away from India. You have to stay in India for 11 years. Then only you can apply for the Indian citizenship, and then we will refer it to the application office, and finally you will get it. But this has removed that it can be only for 5 years. So if you are staying for 5 years in India continuously, you will be eligible to get the Indian citizenship after satisfying all these conditions. And those individuals should enter India before December 31, 2014. It can only be given, this date is also important, this can only be given to those individuals who came to India because of persecution and other condition, but before 2014, December 31. After January 1, 2015, even if you are entering India, we are not going to give citizenship. So this is also, date cutoff is also important, right? And there are certain regions which were exempted, that migrants will settle here because of the tribal people nature and then local culture. So the areas like Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur was also added, Nagaland was added. So these are the regions where the citizenship will not be given to those migrated to this region, right? So they will be removed somewhere or moved to some other regions. But in these regions, we are not going to give the citizenship because it will affect the local culture. That's what the Amendment Act said, right? Now, what are the petitions filed in the Supreme Court? I just explained that Indian Constitution allows only single citizenship at a time. But the individuals who are coming from Afghanistan, Pakistan, and then Bangladesh from Buddhists or Hindus, those are coming with the already having citizenship from those countries. So now if you are giving Indian citizenship, it will have a dual effect. I mean, it will contradictory to the Constitution itself. So that was filed in the Supreme Court. Now the Supreme Court will take up, it will ask the government, the central government, how can you apply this, because Constitution is prohibited completely to have a dual citizenship, right? So we have to see what Supreme Court will pronounce in the coming days. So this is about the issue why the petitioner has went for the Supreme Court, right? Any doubt in this? Any doubts? So we have seen the context, what is happening with the dual citizenship, why the petitioners has filed. So we have just briefly seen the context. Then we have seen what is citizenship, and then how Indian citizenship works, right? Who are eligible, what is happened in the history and why it was made certain changes. So all these things we have discussed, and then we have discussed about the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, right? And then finally we have also seen the issue that were filed in the petition, right? So that is about the citizenship or Indian citizenship concept, right? Yeah, fine. Thank you, Oindala, for the response. I hope that is clear. Next one, green credit program. Green credit program. So the context is, we will see the context, you may not be able to understand clearly, but once after discussing the article, you will be able to understand it, right? So weeks after the union government or union ministry has announced that green credit program will be implemented. Few weeks back, central government or Ministry of Environment has, we are going to implement the green credit scheme, and immediately 10 states have identified the degraded forest land. Degraded forest land means it was earlier part of forest, but now it was degraded. Deforestation has happened, right? But why this is happening, why government has notified, the state governments, why they have notified and all, we will understand only once we understand the green credit program, right? So the states have identified 3,853 hectares of land. We'll come to this point. Let's understand what actually is green credit program. That is important for us now. So Ministry of Environment has introduced this in 2023, October 2023, the scheme was adopted, and for what? The main aim is to promote the forestry or the forest percentage on the whole Indian subcontinent. That is the aim. It aims to incentivize those people who are cultivating and promoting the forest. For example, there is a barren land and I am planting all the trees. Over the 5 years, the percentage of forest has increased. So I will be incentivized. How I will be incentivized? That we will discuss now, right? So the main objective of the green credit program is to increase the forestry land. That is the main objective of this particular program. Now how they will do? Let's understand. I hope this you are following. Yeah. Let's understand this with the discussion on taking an example. This is a forest land. This is a forest land. This is a non-forest or degraded, we can say. Okay? Non-forest or degraded land. Now, understand this. If you understand this, then only you will be able to connect to the context and then details about the scheme, right? So try to understand this. This is a forest land and this is a non-forest or degraded land. Now, I am having a company A. See, any country want to promote the business because of the job creation, GDP growth and all, right? But the same way, they also need to protect the forest land. It is a two contradiction. If there is a development, there may be effect on environment. And if you want to protect environment, there may be reducing the business activity in the country. So we should balance both government or the business development as well as the environment protection, right? So we need to balance the two. Now let's see how the government is going to balance through this particular scheme. Now this is a company A. I want to start a business in country like in India. Okay, I'm company A and I want to start a business. And I found that making a company here, establishing a company here in this forest land will have a huge profits as well as I can provide more employment, GDP growth will be there, because the company that I am launching is related to iron and steel and most of the mining will, the elements will be present here. But this is a forest land, right? So if I want to start a business, yes, I will start the business here, right? So this amount of forest land going to be reduced in the country, right? Because I am starting a business, I will clear up everything, I will launch my company. So here in a compensation to that, I need to grow the forest here. So this is a non-forest or degraded land. So as I am consuming the forest land here, I have to consume or I have to grow the forest here in compensation to that. So overall the country forest land is not going to change because the same amount they are going to grow the forest land here, right? So I am going to start a business here. So this is what government want to encourage, right? So if for example this company A that I have launched was not able to convert this land because of various reasons, complexity involved, required lot of other people to help. So as I was not able to grow this, now what I will do, I will buy a forest who have already made here, right? So this one now I am going to, right? Because of complexity I am not able to produce any forest land. So here some people else some people, group of people, say for example, people C, the group of C, right? So the people have already grown a forest and they are ready to sell it to this particular company, right? So they are going to sell it. Now, the people already spent some money on growing the plants and all, so this company will buy this land and then show to the government that we have taken this land. In place of that, we have taken this land, and which is also converting into the forest, which was already conducted into the forest. So overall, the objective is that there won't be any change or reduction of forest in the country, right? So this is how it works. It is the green credit. For every plant that the group of C is planting, 1 credit will be there, and there will be, for example, this is 100 credits of land, 100 trees were destructed, right? Now 100 trees has to buy by this company, right? So these people in turn will also get the profit from this company, and also this forest land is also not being affected in the Indian subcontinent. So this is the mechanism of the green credit program. So the people, it is encouraging people to cultivate the forest, and they can sell it to the companies, right? So this is about the green credit mechanism. I hope this is clear. Any doubt in this concept? Only if you understand this, then we can go to the next important details, right? So is there any doubt in this? Green credit program mechanism. So whatever the green credit means, for each plant there will be 1 credit. So 100 plants you plant here, 100 green credits you get, and you can sell it to the company which has already started the business and they have destroyed some forest. Any doubt in this? So let's move to the next one, more about this green credit program. So this was announced first in budget 2023-24 by the union government, and it was launched in October 2023, the scheme, right? So its initial phase, in the initial phase of this project, there will be 2 key activities. So here, as I said, they have to grow plants, right? Or whatever the important environmental friendly activity, anything. It is not just about growing plants, but mostly, yes, it is for any water management, for any other activity, the main core important thing is to grow the plants, right? So the 2 activities was recognized. One is water conservation. Second is afforestation. So afforestation we have discussed. In the same way, if the company is affecting the water, the region which is having water resources, they can also buy the credit of the other water conservation activities that has already been made by some other people, right? So here the 2 activities were recognized, and private persons, private companies can buy these things, right? And one more thing, one more important provision the government has enabled, that any company which is having certain amount of profits more than 5 crore, for example, that is the criteria. If any company is earning profits more than 5 crore, they have to spend 2% of their profits to welfare of the people or the society, whether in terms of education, whether in terms of health, whether anything. That is called as the corporate social responsibility. Companies doing social activities as a responsibility of earning profits from those people, from the country. So they have to spend 2% of their funds towards the corporate social responsibility activities. And this buying the green credits is also being considered as a corporate social responsibility by the Indian government. So even if they are not doing any education, any other thing, they can just buy these green credits. That can also be considered as an activity under corporate social responsibility, right? So this is the thing. So each plant will have a 1 credit. Usually what here the mechanism is, government itself is identifying. The government, the state government, for example Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, they themselves are identifying the land, and then they are giving it to the company here that please grow here. Whatever you have taken away, we are identifying and you can plant here. And if there is no such land, the state government was not able to identify any of such lands, then what will these companies do? They have to take 2 times of the degraded lands. So this is a forest land, for example 10 kilometers square. So in this degraded forest land, as governments were not able to give any land, they will choose alternate lands and they have to take 20 kilometers square. They themselves, if they are doing, they are taking 10 kilometers square forest area, so they have to grow 20 kilometers square area, right? If state governments are providing the same because this land may not be able to produce exact amount of forest, right? This may be high quality where the forest can sustain for longer period, and this may be not the very good quality land where forest will not grow for longer periods. If state governments are identifying the same quality, they can grow 10 kilometers square only. But if there is no such land, quality land, they have to take other land which is not very good quality of having forest in the future, but it should be double the amount, 20 kilometers square, right? So this is the concept of the green credit program that government is talking about. And who is responsibility to handle this? Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education. So this is the body which is taking care of the implementation of green credit program. This is also very, very important. Indian Council Forest Research and Education institution is responsibility to that. Also in future, as of now, two activities are considered: afforestation and water conservation management, right? But in future, it can be tree plantation, water management, sustainable agriculture, waste management, air pollution, mangrove conservation. These were also given by the government. The Ministry of Environment has given. In future, we are going to expand it to these activities as well, right? So about Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education also we will see briefly, because this is the organization which is implementing the scheme. So the questions related to this organization may be also asked in the exam. So it is an autonomous body under Ministry of Environment. Autonomous means they have no influence of the ministry officials. They have their own mechanism to act, right? So this is an autonomous organization under Ministry of Environment Affairs, and then this aims to promote forest research in India, right? Anything related to forest research is going to be promoted through this body. So that is about the thing. Now let's come to the context now. Let's come to the context. That 10 states, I hope you are following this. Yeah, great. So the states have identified 3,853 hectares. I was talking about states identifying the same quality of land and then giving it to the companies to make plantation here, increase the forest. So that's why there is a news article that state governments has identified such quality forest land of 3,853 hectares where private companies can invest here and grow the forest area, right? So that is what the context about. 10 states have identified such quality forest land for the companies, right? So that is the context that we were talking about. Now, a state has offered thousands of hectares of land to the private companies to grow the land, and out of that, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh have given approximately 40%. Out of those 10 states, 40% of quality land was given by Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. Because of the forest areas here, we have a good quality of land. So you can see here it was directly copied from the Hindu itself. Madhya Pradesh has given the highest forest land, followed by Chhattisgarh, right? So we have to see how the private companies will go after this in the future, right? So that is about the green credit card program, and then the context also we have connected to the actual given the news article, right? Any doubts? Any doubts related to this article? Please do understand this is a very, very important. See, I'm telling this again and again, understanding the current affairs is not just mugging up the facts. You may mug up that Madhya Pradesh have given the highest land followed by Chhattisgarh, but in the exam, the questioners, the questioners that who are making the examiners who are making the questions are not nowadays testing just the factual things. Earlier the trend has been completed. Now the trend is to understand whether the student is able to understand the issue or not. So they will ask how the working mechanism is, who can participate, how it is working. So such a conceptual things are being asked in the exam. So you need to understand the concept rather than mugging up the facts, right? Great. Next article, Nimu-Padam-Darcha road. So this is a factual article. There is no concept involved, but yes, there is an issue involved. You might be already aware, we have already discussed that certain part of Ladakh is with China, and then this part of Ladakh is with the hands of Pakistan, right? So here we have an issue with the two enemies here, right? We have China on one hand, we have Pakistan on one hand, so we need to tackle them in a much better way, right? So that's why since last few years the Indian government is trying to build the border roads here, all this region as well as Arunachal Pradesh and other parts. We are trying to increase the proper modern roads, so that if there is an issue with the China or Pakistan, immediately the troops will rush. Now at present we have the topography here is very complex. You take more than 15 hours, 20 hours to reach from this region to this region because of the high topographical constraints or the volatility of the complex land. So as part of this plan to increase the land connectivity to the border regions, the government has constructed Nimu-Padam-Darcha road. So the fact related to that we have to understand. And this is a all-weather road. That means even in winter season, even if there is a snow, these roads can be used, right? So these are the all-weather roads. Nimu-Padam-Darcha road. So understand here. Let's here. Yes, Darcha is here, right? So Darcha is here and then connecting to Nimmu, which is in Ladakh region. So here we are connecting to Darcha is in Himachal Pradesh, and then we have a Shinkunla pass, and then finally connecting it to the Padam and then Leh, right? So Nimmu is located in the Leh region. So we are connecting this region. Please try to understand here this territory. Please observe here, because in exam if you are having the visual effect you can easily remember it, rather than okay there are Darcha and then there is the Padam and then we have a Nimmu. So rather than understanding like that, try to observe the map. Here it is in Himachal Pradesh, we have a Manali, and then above that Darcha. From Darcha till Nimmu we have a road connectivity, right? So try to remember this figure. Now about this road, the facts related to this also important. So the road is connecting between two states, Himachal Pradesh and then Leh. Here Himachal Pradesh and then here we have a Ladakh, that is Leh, right? And this road was built by Border Road Organization, an organization under Ministry of Defence. Though it is a road building activity, it is not under Ministry of Roads, but it is under the Ministry of Defence, right? So this is also important to be understood. Now there is a Janskar Valley. So here Ladakh, here it is in under the China, and then here it is in Pakistan. So between this border we have a Janskar Valley, right? A region where people are residing, and it is also some part which is also being handled by the Indian Army. So this Janskar Valley is very important, that it is having in the higher altitudes. So the Indian Army can peep through where Chinese activity, Pakistan activities are going through, right? So the hilly regions are very, very important for defense. And this road is going to connect through the Janskar Valley, which is a good thing for India. So Janskar is a Tahsil in the Kargil district. Kargil is bordering with the Pakistan, right? So this is about the road. And now this road allows movement from Leh to Lahul Spiti. The total road, Lahul Spiti is very, very famous in Himachal Pradesh. So it is going to be connected with the Leh in the long term. And a tunnel was there. This is very important. Shinkula Pass. La here means pass in the Buddhist language or those languages. La means pass. So in this through region where the road is going to connect, through this we have a Shinkunla Pass. So here it is in the Himachal Pradesh. So here we are connecting the world's highest altitude tunnel. Very, very important. World's highest altitude above sea surface, right, from the sea level surface. We are going to build the highest level. So that is going to be called as Shinkun tunnel, which is going to connect through this pass, right? So this is also being very important part of this project. Next, it is the first all-weather road which connects both in winter, summer, spring. No season is restricted. So here, this is the first time that we are constructing or connecting Ladakh with the all-weather road. Usually in winter it was disconnected from the Indian mainland, right? So but this one is going to work throughout the year. This is also important. The road is just 298 kilometers from Manali. Manali is a well connected region. So from this Manali you can easily provide the one to be understood. Any doubts in this? So any doubts in this? Great. So let's move to the next article. Before going through, there is one important announcement from AS Academy. For those who are preparing SSC JEE, it is only specific for Staff Selection Commission Junior Engineer. So here we are launching a classroom program as well as online live course for general studies specifically. Okay, for those who are, the new notification has come for 1000 posts, right? So approximately we are starting a classroom program as well as online live course for the students who are preparing, right? Already technical subject they might have completed, but it may be not for general studies. We are launching it. You can take coaching, and there is a early bird offer, right? So the course is on 15th April. There is as part of our Ugadi celebrations, we have a 20% discount for that course, right? For all the courses, so Ugadi 20 you can use, right? So this is the offline as well as online live course program for those who are to prepare for Staff Selection Commission Junior Engineer, which the notification has come. Okay, next moving to the article, next article, a very important article. I will show you the question also from various state PSC exams and then civil service. There many times has been asked the important facts related to the South American continent. So why we have taken this South American mapping? Because the Mexican president Andres Manuel Lopez has quickly moved away. They have broken diplomatic relations with the Ecuador. Ecuador is a country which is located in the South American continent, and Mexico is located in the North America, right? So they have broken the diplomatic relationship because the embassy, embassy means where the other countries maintain offices in those countries. So in Ecuador there is a Mexican embassy, and the former president has hidden here in the Mexican embassy. So the police officers from Ecuador entered these offices and then captured. So it was not liked by Mexican embassy, and then they have broken the diplomatic relations with Ecuador, right? So that's why it felt there will be a question, there may be a possible question from the South American continent mapping. Okay, right. So we'll see. See, you may not very clear with this mapping, so I'll tell you what are all the things which are relevant for our exams, right? So no need to worry about learning everything. The geographical mapping part I'm here explaining, but there will be mountains and all that I'm not discussing, the rivers and all. Only the map pointing related to the boundaries I'm discussing here. So first, this is the whole South American continent. South American continent. Now the first important point is, it is surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean, the North Atlantic, South Atlantic Ocean, and west of it is Pacific Ocean. So Pacific Ocean and then the Atlantic Ocean, it is surrounding two oceans. Similarly, we have a Caribbean Sea here, right? So sea is a small part of the ocean. Ocean is a bigger open one, sea is an enclosed one, right? So we have a Caribbean Sea and then Atlantic, North Atlantic, South Atlantic, and then Pacific Ocean, South Pacific Ocean, right? So these are the water bodies that are surrounding the African continent, South American continent. Here, the largest country in the South American continent is Brazil. This is important. The largest South American continent is Brazil, and Brazil is the only country where equator as well as Tropic of Capricorn passes through. Brazil is the only country which we have a Tropic of Capricorn and then we have a equator. So both this, we have a important three lines, right? Equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. So these two lines are being passed through Brazil. This is one important point to be remembered. Next important point about this geography is Colombia is the only country Colombia is the only country which is bordering to the Atlantic Ocean as well as Pacific Ocean. So I'll show you the question, the previous question how it was asked. Try to understand. Colombia is the only country which is bordering with the Atlantic Ocean, and from here start the Pacific Ocean. So it is having in Pacific Ocean as well as Atlantic Ocean. No other countries, all these countries are residing over the Pacific Ocean, boundaries with the Pacific Ocean, and all these countries are bordering with the Atlantic Ocean, but Colombia is the only country which have two borders with Atlantic as well as Pacific. This is one important point. And then there are only two countries which are landlocked in the South America. One is Bolivia and other one is Paraguay. So these are the only two countries which are not having the coastal areas in the whole South American continent. This was also asked in the exam. So you have to remember this. These are the two enclosed or closed regions which are not having the coastal areas, right? All other countries is having. So here one more important thing is Andes. Andes mountains are the world's largest mountains located in the South American continent. Similarly, Amazon which is having the largest basin area, this is also located in the South American continent. So these things briefly you need to remember. Very factual in nature, but there is a high possibility of asking questions. Many times it's been asked, right? So try to understand the each country as well. Like Brazil is the largest, and then Peru is having the western coast. Here Uruguay is there, right? Paraguay and Bolivia are the enclosed areas, and Colombia is the only country which is having Pacific and Atlantic Ocean, and then Ecuador is in starting from Pacific Ocean. Venezuela is completely in Atlantic Ocean. So you have to remember like this. Any doubts in this? Very easy, like map pointing one, but yes, virtually you need to remember them. Any doubts in this? Okay. Let's move to the next article briefly. Now we can easily move forward because there is factual things which we can easily complete. World Central Kitchen. World Central Kitchen. And why we have taken this article? 7 people of World Central Kitchen has killed in the Israel bombing. So you all know Israel-Palestine war is still going on, right? So here the Israel have attacked these people. Unfortunately, they said that it is because of night we were not able to see them. We thought they are the enemies and we have attacked the ship, right? So 7 people have died in this attack. That's why we have taken this. The people are belonging to World Central Kitchen. Now the questioners, the examiners will ask questions related to this World Central Kitchen. They won't ask you how many people are killed, why is this and all, but they will ask what actually is World Central Kitchen. World Central Kitchen is a food charity NGO, non-governmental, non-profit organization. That means they are not going to work for profit. They are just want to distribute the food for those people who are in volatile situation, right? So it is a charity organization which was for specifically to serve the food. It was launched in 2010, very important, and it was launched by very popular chef Jose Andres. So this was a person who launched it. And what is the aim of this organization? They want to serve the people who are in need, especially of disasters like hurricanes, earthquakes, or any conflict region. So Israel-Palestine war is going on, and these people or this charity organization is going to help to those people who are in Gaza or Palestine, right, to serve the food. Because food, cloth, housing, these are very basic things. Even if it is conflict area, we have to make them. That is the humanitarian condition that we need to see from the people, right? So this organization is working to serve the food, and it is having headquartered at Washington in United States. So these are all the facts that you need to remember. Objective, where it is located, who launched it, and when it was launched. So that is important. So what has happened? That there was a ship which is being carried over with the 220 tons of food to the Gaza, and Israel forces have attacked and the people have died. So this ship was turned towards the other country, Cyprus, which is located in the Mediterranean Ocean. So they have not went on to give the food to the Gaza, right? So there was a lot of criticism that Israel is stopping even giving food to the people who are struggling in the war, right? So that is about this article. Any doubts? Very simple article, right? Next one, approved models and manufacturers of solar photovoltaic modules order 2019. So this seems to be very complex. This seems to be very complex, but very important, as well as I'll make it very simple for you why this order has come, right? And one important thing is the order was given by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. We have a different ministry, so this is one such ministry. This has given an executive order. See, there is a statutory order which will derive from the acts of the parliament, but executive order means it was given by the government itself. There is no law, there is no act, just that government has given an order. That is called as the executive order. Now what is this order, the provisions and all, we will see. What is the order about? So the name, just read it once, approved models and manufacturers of solar photovoltaic modules order, right? So it is related to solar modules, that may be taken as a clue from this order. Now what is actually the order? The order is this, that any companies who are manufacturing the solar panels and solar modules. Solar panel means single, module means connection of different mechanisms which involve to make the whole solar bunch of solar panels. So this order is to voluntarily give the power to come and check whenever they want. For example, there is a company A, there is a government, right? So this company is allowing anyone from government can come and inspect in their manufacturing company, right? So this order is given by the government so that government can go and check anytime, and not all the companies, only once the companies has given assent. For example, company B and then company A, right? There are two companies. This company have given assent that anytime if you want to check, come to our company, you can check whatever you want, wherever you want. So this company has allowed, company A. And company B, they did not allow. No, we don't want any inspection from your side. We are not giving permission. So just remember the two difference, the company which is giving permission and company which is not giving permission. Now come to the actual point, why government need inspection? This may be a question from your side. You might be running this question in your mind, that why government want to inspect here, what is there? So that is important thing. There are certain companies which are just taking the inputs from other countries. If I want to make a solar panel, right? So I want to take the solar cells, all these things as a raw material, and then I can manufacture the solar panel. So this is a good thing, that you are just taking inputs and then you are manufacturing. That means you are creating employment, right? So you are creating GDP. The manufacturing is happening. Lot of workforce is needed for it. And there are some companies which are just taking all the parts and just assemble it. There is no manufacturing, just they are assembling it. They are adding all these things and putting together. We need a very less workforce here, right? So this is not a good for the country, because we are giving our money to the other countries and we are taking all the parts and just we are assembling here. If we just take inputs, raw materials and manufacturing within India, it will create employment, right? So this is a good thing that we are manufacturing. This is just assembling, where we are giving a lot of our money to other countries and we are just assembling here. This is a bad thing. So government want to check whether companies are actually manufacturing the goods or just they are making assembling, right? Assembling of all the parts. So that's what the government want, the access from the companies, allow the government to come and check anytime, anywhere, wherever the companies have, right? So this is the difference of the company A and company B. And this is two types where only assembling takes place and other one is manufacturing takes place, right? Now, this is the mechanism. This will be created a list. Government will create a list which all companies has voluntarily taken up this order. The government has given this order, and which are all companies were take the permission or registered with the government that they will allow the government to come and inspect anytime. And this is the list will government keep aside, that yes, these companies have allowed us anytime, whenever we want, we can go and check. Now, why companies will try to be in this list? So all the companies, they may no, I mean they can say no, right? So like company B, company A also can say no. All the companies may say no. But what is the benefit to those companies who are giving yes? You can come and check. That is also important to understand. So here, whoever the companies, whatever the companies that are allowing the government to come and check anytime, those companies can participate in the government schemes in procurement. For example, there is a PM Surya Ghar Mufti Bijli Yojana, which was launched in this budget. So approximately 1 crore households will be covered with the rooftop solar panels. So these solar panels has to be taken from the companies only, right? They have to give the tender. Government has to give the tender. They have to take this instrument and then distribute it to the people to promote the solar energy. So only these companies will be allowed in tender process. So these all companies which are not giving permission, government will not allow them to participate in the tender. So they will not able to get the profits, right? So that's why the companies will try to be in the list to get the tenders from the government and participate in the business, right? So this is what the order was made. Any doubt in this? This is also a little bit a conceptual in nature, but very, very important. So they will ask you in a twisting statement based what is the orders for which, what is the benefit of these orders. So which ministry has actually given the order. So all these things you need to remember for the exam, right? So we have seen the order and which ministry has given. What is the purpose? There are two categorization of manufacturing and then two types of companies which give assent and which not gives. And what is the benefit for those companies which are given the assent. So that is about this particular thing. Last article for today, that is Disaster Management Act 2005. Any doubts from your side? Okay, great. Let's move to the next article or the last article. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, right, has said that they are going to, as the election code was there, they have asked permission for conducting the meeting and they are going to give the funds for the Karnataka. Karnataka is facing droughts and many other disaster conditions like lack of rainfall and all. So the government, central government is bound to give certain funds to the Karnataka government because they are facing the drought. But they haven't yet given. The funds were not released to the Karnataka government. That's why Karnataka government has went for the Supreme Court. That the funds that we need to get from the center were not yet released to us, right? So they have complained it to the Supreme Court and Finance Minister has responded that we are about to release, we have already asked the permission from the Election Commission of India to conduct the meeting. As the election code was there, whether we can release the funds or not, we don't know. We are still with the consultation with the Election Commission. Once they get permission, then we will meet and we will release the funds, right? That's what the Union Finance Minister said. Now, what is the issue? As I said, there is a Supreme Court, Karnataka went for Supreme Court where they want to get funds from the National Disaster Response Fund, right? So this is a separate fund created under Disaster Management Act and the funds from this will go to the state governments who are facing the droughts and other disasters, right? So the state government of Karnataka has said that we have lost 35,162 crores because of this disaster or drought condition, and out of that center is bound to give 18,171 crore, right? Half of the money approximately has to come from the center. So they haven't yet released. That's why they went for the Supreme Court, filing the petition against the center, right? So this is the issue about as certain funds has to come to Karnataka and that was not given by center, they went for Supreme Court, right? Now what did the Finance Minister said? As I said earlier, that there was a already meeting permission asked, right? And when there was a immediate disaster, it is the responsibility of the state governments to give the money. She is saying that immediately once the disaster happened, immediate responsibility is with the states. The central government will come into the later, right? So they will give money, but immediate response has to be made by the state governments. Afterwards, we will give the money. So that's what she said. So she is defending against the government, central government, right? Also, there is no concept of interim relief. So interim means at least for temporarily you need to give immediately. The central government has to give immediately to the state government. So there is no such concept as such mentioned in the Disaster Management Act. That's what she said, right? So sequence of events you need to understand. that Karnataka has faced the droughts and the money has to come from, certain money has to come from the center. It was not yet released, so Karnataka government went to the Supreme Court and finance minister has defended it by saying that immediate response with the state government, and we will come into the picture, we will give, but it is after discussion with the committees. That's what she said. Now we need to know about the Disaster Management Act 2005. That is also important. So India has faced a tsunami in 2004. If you are a childhood, if you could able to recall, in 2004, especially the December 25, 26, the Christmas day approximately, we have faced tsunami, which came from Indonesia and hit many of the coastal regions of Indian mainland, right? So in that time, there is no responsibility, legal responsibility given to any of the organization. There are certain helping organization, but legally, if there is a failure to support the people, the action can be taken against those entities. So there is no such legal obligation on anyone to help. That's why government has bought Disaster Management Act 2005 and have created the responsibilities that at the district level this organization will take, the state government this will take, and central government this will take. All the responsibilities were clearly mentioned. So if anyone is failed in assisting the people, then the action can be taken, right? Now it was made as part of the act. So that is the Disaster Management Act, which was passed to immediately respond to the disaster that is occurring in India, right? So for that, National Disaster Management Authority was established to implement the Disaster Management Act at the central level. National Disaster Management Authority was launched, right, which is mandate to give guidelines to any of the things in whole India. It can give guidelines that this is measures has to be taken. So this is the authority which have power to implement the Disaster Management Act at the center, and this is headed by Prime Minister. Very, very important. Many times has been asked in the exam. National Disaster Management Authority was headed by Prime Minister, right? So this is the authority which have the power to give guidelines. Now the act also designates Ministry of Home Affairs as a nodal ministry. It is NDMA is headed by Prime Minister, but the disaster management is under the purview of Ministry of Home Affairs. So this is the ministry which will coordinate with all the ministries during the disasters, right? So that is also important. And under this act, National Disaster Response Fund was created. This is what Karnataka government is asking from the center, that this fund was already created to give the state, give funds to the states whenever there is a disaster. This is a legal obligation on government, central government, to give funds, right? So NDRF was already created separate fund under the act which need to assist for the states who are facing the disasters, right? So this is the organization mechanism. From central government, Ministry of Home Affairs is the nodal ministry, NDMA chaired by Prime Minister, right? But hosted by Home Minister, but the whole authority is headed by Prime Minister, right? And state government, we have again State Disaster Management Authority chaired by Chief Minister, right? So state government, we have a State Disaster Management Authority headed by Chief Minister. Similarly, we have a district administration as well, District Disaster Management Authority headed by Collector, District Magistrate of that particular district. So this is the organization mechanism, right? So that is about NDMA and related important things that we need to know, right? So that is all from the main articles. I hope there is no doubt. Let's move to the factual pointers. There are 3-4 factual pointers which need to be remembered. First one, World Health Day was being celebrated on April 7th. Every year on April 7th, we have World Health Day. Important to be remembered. And this year theme is My Health and My Right. So this is the theme, My Health and My Right. And this day is celebrated to make awareness about the importance of health. Next one, Akash Tir system. So this was for Indian Army. So they have commenced indigenously made, so without any external assistance of the country, Akshatir system was developed. And what is this? This is an automated defense system against any of this activity. So Pakistan may give some missiles or China may throw some missiles in the future. So it is an automated air defense control. So immediately if any of the missile coming into Indian territory, so the region, the border itself, this automatically detects and give information to the Indian Army. So we can take action within seconds, right? So this was developed by Bharat Electronics Limited for Indian Army, right? So this is a Sakshatir system. Next one, April 6th, day before yesterday. Every year on April 6th, we celebrate International Day for Sports Development and Peace. So this is celebrated on April 6th. And the theme is Sport for the Promotion of Peaceful and Inclusive Societies. So this is the theme which need to be remembered, right? So that is all for today's articles. Let's move to the practice questions. So first question, see, before solving the question, I want to tell you, understand it. So what is the very most appropriate? There seems to be one or two options which are similar to that, but try to understand the concept and then find out the best possible answer. So this is similar to UPSC questions asked in many of the exams, right, even SSC exams. Which of the following best define the term citizenship? Right? So which of the following best defines the term citizenship? This is a complex. Let's see who will answer this. I'll give 1 minute time, try to understand the statements and then conclude the answer. A contractual relationships between the resident and the nation to gratify each other needs. So first statement is, it is a contractual relationship between resident and then nation to gratify each other needs. That is the first statement. Second one, it is a contract between individuals and state. State here means country, okay, where citizens willing to surrender certain freedom and rights to the sovereign state. So they are surrendering certain freedom and rights to the state, the country, in exchange for protection and security, right? So this is the second statement. Third statement, a ownership among individuals and the state that exercise political authority over each other. So political authority means controlling each other politically to promote harmonious relationship and continuous existence of nation. So this is the third statement. A constitutional status that promotes loyal to and proud of the resident country, okay, residing country. So this is the 4 options. Now tell me, what is the best definition of citizenship? I will wait all of your answers. Take some time, understand and answer it, okay? Take 30-40 seconds, try to understand, eliminate it. First, which one is the worst definition, not relevant one. Try to eliminate one and then try to eliminate 2 and then choose. I want answers from all of you. 15 members are online. Please try to answer. Even if it is wrong, don't worry about wrong answer. Just try to express yourself. You will be more confident, right? Okay. Let's see. First, eliminate which is not relevant. A constitutional status that promotes loyal to and proud of the residing country. So this is a vague concept. There is no proper definition. It's just that you are proud of your country and you are a citizenship. Anyone can proud of India, right? So they are not all will be given with the citizenship. So D is wrong. Next, first, a contractual relationship between resident and the nation. So resident is not at all a matter here. Whoever is residing in India will not be given citizenship, right? Maybe foreigner, that's what I'm discussed earlier, alien people who are residing in India but they are not the Indian citizens, right? So this is also not correct. And now the most of discussion comes with between B and C. Let's see what is C, then we will come to the B. A ownership among individuals and the state that exercise political authority over each other to promote harmonious relationships. See, political authority means what? Controlling them, their freedom. So the nation can control the freedom, So who can vote, who cannot vote, everything is controlled. So it is not exercising the political authority over each other. You cannot as an individual can exercise authority over the government, right? So this is vague concept and is not synchronity. Now see this is given by Hobbes concept, the thinker, philosopher, political philosopher, right? So it is a contractual relationship between the individuals and the nation, where the certain rights are surrendered to the country or the nation. That okay, fine, I am giving this I'll be do. So I'll surround certain freedoms, right, or as well as rights, that I will perform these duties, and in turn you protect me against any of the external influence. So this is the most suitable answer. So answer is B. This is how you need to answer. See, even I can remember what is the definition of state they have asked, and there were two options which are very clear, I mean very similar, but there is a proper answer, one word they have changed. So this is how you need to answer this, right? So Swarupa, Rajkumar, Malini, Srinath have answered it as B. Very good. So slowly you will be coming out of that mugging up nature. You will understand the concept and then you will answer the questions, right? Next one, which of the following statements regarding green credit program is correct? So we have discussed about the green credit program, right? So let's see what is this about. It is market based mechanism designed to incentivize voluntary environmental actions across various sectors. So this is the first one. Ministry of Finance is responsible for implementation, management and monitoring of operation of the green credit program. This is the second statement. Under this scheme, carbon credits can be sold and brought domestically, right? So these are the statements. So first let's eliminate one statement, right? So it is not being implemented by Ministry of Finance, isn't it? So what is the answer for this? So second should be eliminated. It is handled by Ministry of Environment. So two options are eliminated. Always remember in exams, if it is statement based, try to eliminate one statement. You can eliminate two options and then you can take risk even if you don't know, right? So this is the elimination. Third one, under the scheme, carbon credits can be sold. No, there is no selling of carbon credits. Carbon credits means releasing of the carbon, how much amount of carbon is saved by the individuals, and then that can be sold to the company. So that is a different mechanism. It is not carbon credits but green credits. Green credits, right? Third option is wrong and first is correct. Hence option A is correct, right? So green credits and carbon credits are two different things. The amount of carbon saved without releasing into the atmosphere, that is called as carbon credit, right? Next one, this is the previous question asked in State PSC of Andhra Pradesh recently, 2024 prelims. They have asked about the South American continent. So let's solve this question. Consider the following countries: Chile, Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, Colombia. So they have given certain countries and they are asking which of the above South American countries have the Pacific coastline. This was asked in APPSC Group 1 2024. So the very recent question I have taken from the State PSC exam. All these countries, out of that, which are surrounding the Pacific countries, I mean the Pacific Ocean, right? So I have shown you. So I'll give 30 seconds time. Okay, you can answer. After that I will discuss. So first let's check one by one. We have no Venezuela. I have shown you intentionally. Colombia is the country which is bordering with Pacific as well as Atlantic Ocean. I have stressed that particular point, right? Colombia is the only country which is bordering with both Atlantic and Pacific Ocean, and Venezuela was located above Colombia. So Venezuela has to be eliminated. I have shown you this, right? So Venezuela 2 should be eliminated. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5C, Colombia I have specifically mentioned that it is bordering both. The speciality of country is it is the only country which is bordering both, a South American country which is bordering both Atlantic Ocean as well as Pacific Ocean. So this should be there. So you got the answer as C. Right? So yes, some of you have answered. Right? So that is about the South American continent. Next one, which of the following statements are incorrect about Disaster Management Act 2005? So about Disaster Management Act 2005, which is incorrect? Out of the 4 given options, which one is incorrect? Rajkumar, Swarupa, Malini, all 3 of you have answered very good. So keep it up. It is a very difficult question to remember. National Disaster Management Authority is responsible for issuing evacuation orders during the natural disasters. So this is the statement. NDMA is responsibility in issuing evacuation orders, evacuating it, right? I mean the people, to evacuate the people out of it, these regions. Next, Prime Minister acts as a chairman of NDMA. This is the second statement. Third, it was established to administer both natural disasters and man-made disasters. Natural disaster means cyclones and all, man-made means earthquake, or like mining disasters, right? Tunneling, those things. So it handles both the disasters. That is the third statement. It is mandatory for government to constitute a national disaster mitigation fund. Right? So these are the statements. Now try to think, there is a logic in one statement which you can eliminate, and that will be the wrong answer here. Try to find out the logic. Don't think only factual manner. What is the answer for this? Okay, so let's first know the facts which is we have discussed. Prime Minister acts as a chairman of NDMA. So we have discussed this. It is under the chairmanship of Prime Minister but handled by Ministry of Home Affairs. It was established to administer both disasters, I mean natural disasters, as well as man-made disasters. Yes, of course, there is no separation of disaster as such, man-made and natural, in terms of controlling it. The act covers both the things. So B and C should not be the answer because they are correct. Now comes the this one. It is mandatory for government to constitute NDMA, National Disaster Mitigation Fund. You may still dilemma about this. Let's come to this statement. NDMA is responsible for issuing evacuation orders. See, whenever there is a disasters will not come in, like without proper signals and all. There is no proper signals. It may come suddenly. There may be a cyclone. There may be certain swell surges from oceans. Disaster may come suddenly. So if this is the authority to take decision at the central level, it is very, very difficult to reach out to the local, and then it takes a lot of time to evacuate the people. So the evacuation order stays at the very district management, where it can immediately assess the disaster and it will take decision. They don't need to wait for the NDMA. So it is a very decentralized approach to handle this. So this is the wrong answer, because at the local level, districts, authorities, collectors are responsible for that. Even though we did not discuss, this is the logic. If it is under this particular authority, it takes a lot of time to pass, and this is a mandatory thing. So answer is A, because that is wrong. Very good, Shyam and Malini, both of you answered wonderfully. I thought this question will be not answered by anyone. Very good. The last question, the recently built Nimu-Padam-Darcha road by Border Road Organization connects which of the following regions? Jammu Kashmir and Uttarakhand with Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh with Ladakh, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, Arunachal Pradesh with Assam. Explain option D. See, it is mandatory for government to constitute EMF, National Disaster Mitigation Fund. See, I have discussed this point in Disaster Management Act 2005. I have quoted Karnataka government asking central for release of the fund. It is a mandatory to create certain fund by the central government, and whenever there is a disaster, it will be passed to the states. So this point we have discussed, that it is mandatory for central government to create. So Karnataka government have asked for Supreme Court that they haven't released the funds. So it is mandatory under National Disaster Management Act. Fine. So that is the thing. And the fifth question is very, very simple. Ashik and then Srinath, Malini, Sham, Swaroop, everyone have answered. It is connecting Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh, right? So that is of today's thing. As I said, we have a general studies course and many other courses in our ACE online app. You can download with the and then you can use the code, right? So that's all for today's session. Thanks a lot. We have a very good articles which are conceptual in nature. Try to understand them rather than mugging up. So it will really helpful for your mind to capture the examiner's mindset, right? So have a wonderful evening. Thank you.